We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Girl,
seen things you people wouldn't believe.
So, a creature for my amusement. Prepare for battle.
Fucking thing sucks!
Oh yeah. It ain't extra Bulla without the groovy music. Never learned how to play. Story of my life, sad face. Welcome, creatures and all the wonderful people of the world that are watching this. I'm your Uncle Warren, and it is another wonderful time here at Extra Bulla in Brooklyn, in the Brooklyn Batcave. Let me give some shout outs to everybody that showed up in the pit, aka the chat. Oh, Sleepy Josh, Noli, Reefer. We got Ricky Rant, Steve Wolfbrand, the best radio name in the chat. Steve Wolfbrand, live in the mornings. We got Ed Heller, Angel Rivera, Dingo's here.
All the cabs.
That's right. Yeah, the whole Hee Haw gang's here. Got Gamer and Kim and Anthony. Hello. Who else we got here? Chris Legion. Yes. And Steve Cutler live. He's here as well. Yeah. Everybody that you love. The usual suspects showing up. Tonight's a good night. It is the return of Fiorella. Enough of looking at my ugly mug. Hopefully this works. Survey says, hey, Mazel Tov. And I'm not even Jewish. Hello, doll. You are alive and ready to rock and roll in your 1990s apartment type looking place there. How you doing?
Good. I'm doing good. I'm here in New York, so salute to you.
She's invaded the East
yeah,
Coast.
I have. I always talk shit about the East Coast because, like, it's cold and it warmed up. Like today, I came in with a leather jacket and like a sweater, and I was fine. It was warm. It was like almost 50. So
you brought the heat. You brought that left coast heat. Good for you. I'm glad too, because a few days ago we got the cyclone, the bomb blast, whatever they were calling it, and I don't know. It wasn't like too much snow, but it was still just kind of annoying. It was like an annoying amount. Like when you get in the me and my lady friend, we went over to this park over here in Fort Greene. It was great. It was like balls cold, but the snow was fresh, and like people were like, little kids were on sleds and stuff like that, and I had my big floppy like Minnesota hat, and it was great. We had a blast just watching everybody and having a good time. And then you had to deal with the snow that once it turns ugly, it turns like that dirty, it's like depression snow. And but yeah, I think yesterday it started melting a little bit because it was I think it was in the 30s yesterday. But yeah, then you come into town, and now it's like I think it's practically gone. So thank you for that.
Yeah. So me and Bill Gates, we have a connection. You shouldn't even jokingly say that because somebody's going to be like, see, I told you she was sus.
There's always narcs in the chat somehow. There's always like some name I don't recognize. I'm like, wait a minute. Because not a lot of people watch this show. It's usually like the same people that watch the show every week, which is fine. It's like having your friends over, But then you see like a strange name. You're like, hey, wait a minute. What, who's this? I smell fed. What's going on? I'm kind of paranoid too. So, anyway, sorry. Enough about you. Let's talk about me. So, anyway.
Always. I always want to talk about you.
Fee, you are my favorite. Don't tell anybody, even though this is a live stream, but you are my favorite. That's what Fee stands for. Favorite. Cause you're like you're always here. You know, you say you're gonna be here, you're gonna be here, and I'm like, oh, Fee, you know, my little sister from another mister. So you're here on the East Coast in New York. Besides melting our snow, what is what are your plans here?
So I'm gonna be talking to some people who worked with AOC and who are familiar with her in the context of what they think of her now and things that have happened in the district that she's in, that, you know, in that context. I'm also going to be talking to some people that are anti-mandate and have had experiences dealing with New York's ridiculous restrictions. And, you know, that's, I mean, I don't want to get you taken down. So that's all I'm going to say. You witnessed the panel we had, the panels we had yesterday. Was that yesterday? Yeah, that was yesterday. Yesterday, all day. That idea came about. I was like, it was after we attended the Defeat the Mandates March and Max didn't get to speak. I was like, well, his speech would have been one of the best there. Perhaps that one and the RFK speech, because even though this isn't a left-right paradigm, it's important to point out from a leftist perspective why people are against these mandates. And so, you know, you have a lot of the anti-imperialist left falling right for big pharma and falling right in line with the oligarchy and the demands they're making. So his speech, I heard it because he recited it for us in person, but I was like, people need to hear these conversations being had between leftists who really have a problem with the surveillance state and what's happening. And so I told Pasta that I wanted to do like a panel, like a day of panels, like with a lot of lefty people. And the reason being isn't because I think we should, you know, like I'm just a leftist and I want to show everybody I'm a leftist. It's more of like the narrative that this is all a bunch of right-wing Trump supporters only is false. And I saw that when I went to the Defeat the Mandates, which was censored. We got a video taken down as well of where we mentioned He Who Shall Not Be Mentioned, who I just mentioned earlier. But he's not, you know, you can't mention anything with him. And so even though we had a disclaimer, it was the first time we've had a disclaimer and we've been attacked. And I think it's because of RFK Jr. But other than that, like, we just felt like there needed to be conversations, and we met some doctors there and stuff. So that's why we did it. And Pasta really took the initiative to put it all together and call a bunch of people and schedule a bunch of people, because he talks for hours on the phone. Like I like to talk like on live streams and stuff, and like I will talk like in person, but like I seldom like to have a long phone conversation. Seldom, like it's rare. But Pasta will sit on the phone and like talk for hours and be like, okay, like let's do this and blah blah. So he did that, and so that's how it came about. And we're doing a lot of that. I'm also working on a story. I keep getting more information on the T-Mobile mandate that they're forcing their workers to adhere by April 2nd. And a lot of people have been reaching out. A lot of people have been sending me documents, and I'm really excited to release that as well.
Right on. I mean, it's good that I know Pasta's superpower is schmoozing. So he's
yeah, he admits it too.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I can schmooze too. I don't really like to, but like if I have to be in a situation where I got to get from A to B, you know, I'll do the schmooze thing. But for the most part, I'm kind of like you. I just like to, you know, I just like to have conversations. I don't like to, you know, hey, how's it going, Bob? How are the kids? Wow, I know, right? That was just crazy out there. That local football team, you know, shit like that. I'm not like a big fan, but I know how to do it. I've been around enough people that know. Done it,
so I was going to say, you have to do it in the entertainment industry, but a lot of the times for me, it came off as really fake. The thing about Pasta is he's genuine when he does it. Like, he's a genuine schmoozer. There's a lot of like fake schmoozers. There's a difference. And I think, he handled that well when we were at the Defeat the Mandates March. We got a lot of contacts and a lot of doctors. And we think we're going to continue doing this. People really enjoyed it. It was great having, Kim and Max and Ryan, agreeing on something, but also coming from different perspectives and different environments of independent media, and being able to just verbally assess the situation and explain that to a lot of people. And Pasta had Jimmy on, and Steve Kirsch, and Tim Canova. So that was pretty cool. And then we had, of course, our fans who did an amazing job. Steve from Slow News Day. And like I said, I like Sequoia White more than Steve, but Steve still handled it pretty well. And he didn't misbehave in front of the ladies, who were, by the way, killing it. And Franco with Nico and Alex Rubenstein. Yeah, it was a great time.
Yeah, just for those who don't know, this was all on Rockfin yesterday, right? So there's a link below for Convo Couch on Rockfin. I suggest everybody who missed it yesterday, please check out those videos. Those are some awesome panels. I was eating popcorn and watching that shit all day yesterday. It was so good. It was really, really good. And it was just so like, you had mentioned this, I think you'd said this on Monday. Y'all did a Convo Couch on Monday, right? And I think you said, the panels were coming Wednesday, and it was starting at 10 a.m. Eastern, right?
Dr. Barrick, Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the early bird catches the worm, and then catches the live stream, I guess. But it was fantastic. Steve had his regular show, Slow News Day, at around 11 our time here. And so check that out. Links in the description below. Contact information for Fee as well. I believe your bro is going to be joining us. Maybe he may not be. I think he may have dropped out, but he's a smart guy, so hopefully he'll come back soon. If not, I got y'all to myself. So that's
he had internet issues. So
did he? Yeah, when he came on initially, it looked good, but then it just looked like it just kind of did that grainy thing, and then he kind of froze up. I think Steve and Lucky were having some problems today too with internet issues too. It may have been maybe it's a Northeast thing. I'm not sure. We don't have the best internet around here. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to be going out around and about. Actually, that I was thinking about doing that a few months back, of just hitting up the Bronx, but I don't really have the equipment to do it to just go around and just my camera phone is crap. So as soon as I try to record something good, it'll just crap out. Hang on a second. Wait a minute. Sorry. There he is. Johnny, but I'm on the ones and twos this time. That's what we call a role reversal. So hopefully, sorry man, I'm still getting used to this StreamYard stuff, so I hope you hadn't been waiting too long. I was like, wait a minute, where's Johnny? Because I was thinking Johnny could just poke his head right back in, and I think I have to do it or something. I don't know. I'm just glad you're here, brother.
Thanks for having me.
How are you doing?
Good. It's a little chilly in LA, but I'm sure it's colder in New York.
Well, Fee, like we were saying earlier, Fee brought the heat. So, she's melted all the snow around here. That's this annoying ass, dirty pea snow that always accumulates. It's brown and yellow snow. It's not good. I'm just glad you're holding down the couch, man. I haven't seen Pasta or Fee on the couch because all of your travels and adventures. If you could, Johnny, just kind of give us a breakdown of where you guys went over the last few months. You were in Central and South America, right? Where'd y'all go?
Yeah, that's right. We've been traveling a lot. I'm actually the first one to be back at the house on the couch. Since our travels, we've been to Nicaragua twice and then Honduras. It's been wonderful, It's been a lot of travels. We saw the elections, Nicaragua, and then the elections in Honduras, and then we went back for the inauguration for Nicaragua of Daniel Ortega, Presidente Daniel Ortega, which was really awesome to see and be invited to that. It's crazy how, such a small channel could get invited to witness a pivotal moment in history like that. This cultivation of China and Russia and Nicaragua being a force against the empire, against the imperialists here in DC and the imperialists.
I think I applaud what y'all were doing. Seriously, I mean, you were really like making the mainstream media look really stupid. I know that's not hard to do these days, but the fact that y'all were on the ground down there covering, because you probably heard this too, all the bullshit propaganda that was going on up here in the States, and you guys are on the ground and they're like, no, bitch, that ain't, that's not what's going on, silly beans. We got the footage and everything. We've been live streaming this shit the whole time. What's wrong with you?
I mean, you seen it. I was pissed. I was calling New York Times out on the air, on live, and somehow, in a third world country like Nicaragua, the 4G was working like perfectly. It was working perfectly for our live stream. In the Northeast region, autonomous region, which, got struck by 2 hurricanes back to back, and their infrastructure is better than like, I don't know, some spots in the U.S. I could say. But yeah, no, I mean, that it's isn't it awesome? I mean, we've come so far.
I love it when people actually go to places and experience those places for themselves, and you have a totally different perspective than the hearsay or whatever you hear like in the media and stuff like that. I'm an old fart, obviously. He hides the gray, but I've been propagandized enough, but in my lifetime, and I admit it, I wasn't very smart. And then I got into news and I started to see things a little bit differently. But I got out of news for a while. And then when I started doing stuff in this space, I started meeting folks like y'all, and I said, wow, this it's real journalism again. This is I've missed this, because I used to work with some really like tough journalistic cats down south that were like, who, what, where, when, why, let's investigate this shit. We're not about putting flower shows and stuff on here. And I miss that. I gotten out of the game, and it's like, now I have people on that do that kind of thing, and it's like, I get to help them share their stories. And one of the things that I always find fascinating is when you guys do live streams down there. So I know we talked for a little bit, Jonny, before the show, but I wanted to get, like I said, we had Oz and Sleepy Josh on here from Roar Media and Slow News Day. Very, very smart fellows. We were talking about tech and stuff, and I was just wondering if you could quickly kind of just describe some of the tech that you take with y'all to do that sort of thing, and what some of the problems you had to get around that sort of thing.
Yeah, so on the ground, I mean, really, if you have a nice phone, like an iPhone or a nice Samsung Galaxy phone, I mean, if you have a good plan, you can actually get international like roaming, and then you're able to live stream on the ground. But I mean, even here in the States, having a good phone, and then all you need is a tripod and then a phone holder, and then you got to think about audio. Then it's shotgun mic or a handheld mic, and the connection to that. And then you also got to think about, charging the phone and making sure that it has enough battery, and then the tripod. So then you don't have to hold the phone the whole time. It's a less stress on for me, my back. And that's basically it. I mean, and then the application is Streamlabs. And I do it via Streamlabs, so a multi-stream. And it's pretty easy to do. I've been thinking about making a video just to show, so anybody can do it, because we need more on the ground people doing that.
Well, I tell you, that's why I want to do this month and a little bit here into February. I've been doing a lot of specials here. So I had some of the women that are in independent media that I wanted to get their takes, and then we had the tech guys come in and talk about, because that was one thing. Like when Fee was on here last time, Fee is one of our returning champions, by the way. So when you come back to the show, you'll be a returning champion. No game show prizes, unfortunately, but there may be like some snacks around here, something we can send to you. But I think, like, whenever people want to get into indie journalism, a lot of times they don't know, what they're in for, as far as like, well, I got to get this gear. I've talked to Kit Cabela from Hardlands Media, and he said those guys started out on phones, just doing everything on phones. And I think if we could show people like in more inexpensive ways to get gear, the faster we can get them geared up, the faster we can get them out there, because we need more voices.
Yeah, it's nice having a studio, but like when you're on the ground, it's better to have less equipment, because I mean, he had his big camera too that he would carry sometimes, but that thing is heavy. And you can get the live view, which is like 25 grand. And that's something I would want eventually, but it's basically you travel with internet. It's like something that you get where you can just go live from anywhere, but it's also heavy. It's like you need to have people carrying that. And, but if you just want to stream basic, like, I mean, when we were in Nicaragua, our friend Camilla was just on a phone and a tripod, and she had a mic, and that's it. And it's better that way, especially if you're in these areas that may be rural and you need to be like ready in like a quick minute. It's better. If you're gonna do interviews inside like a house or somewhere, it's always good to bring lighting, because lighting makes such a difference. That's why I had to bring the lighting this time, because it makes such a difference in like how it looks and stuff. But the audio is the most important thing. We've had issues with audio before where it's like, damn it, you can't use that if you don't have good audio.
Yeah, audio is always, it's the bane of my existence here. And I've talked to, like, when I was talking with Oz and Sleepy, they were like, yeah, audio. It's like, that'll get you every time. You get everything else perfect, that audio will fuck you like nobody's business. So that's why I'm always like, when I always tell people, I said, when I do this show, I'm always nervous, not because of talking to people, it's because of the equipment, because I'm the Jonny on the ones and twos here, the Sleepy Josh, the Oz, so it's because people don't like to be around me. The reason why Fee is not here with me is because I literally live in a glorified walk-in closet, and there's some manly untidy things around here that I would never want to expose to Fee, because I respect her too much. So that's why she's
in New York live in a glorified walk-in closet. I feel
Nah, the hipsters don't. The hipsters with their,
Wow.
Their fancy jobs, they have like actual nice apartments. On either the building I live in is great, because it's like a mom and pop place, and the landlord is actually like super cool. If you get behind on the rent or something, he works with you. He's not a dick. He's an asshole, but he's not a dick. There's a difference. So, but on either side of us, they renovated these buildings, and the apartments, I believe, like over here, these are like a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom is like around $3,000 a month, and the ones over here are like they're all one floor, so they're like $5,000 a month.
Jeez.
Yeah, New York expensive. I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm telling you.
I saw a video on Instagram. It was like a girl speaking, and she's got like people always ask me why I love going back to New York, and it's just like the atmosphere. And then the video is just like a bunch of rats running around on the streets.
I know, right? Well, they're New York rats, so you can't tell them from the cats, because they're like huge. In fact, somebody said like, why don't you get a cat for the rats? We're like, please. The rats beat up the cats around here. The cats are just like, no, fuck that guy. I'm not, no. And then they go the other way. But that was why I came to New York, man. It was like, it was the same reason I went to LA. It was because I in Mississippi, you have white and black people, maybe a little tiny bit of Vietnamese folks down on the coast, but that's about it. There's not really that much culture. But I got to LA and it was like, whoa, it's like all kinds of culture, the food, the music, the art. It's like, yes. And then I said, my buddy said, come to New York. I was there for like about 5 years. And then he said, come to New York. And I got here, and the neighborhood I was living in is in Bed-Stuy, near Bushwick.
That's where Pasta's from. Pasta's family. Pasta's dad.
He's from Bed-Stuy? Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Well, it's Hipsterville now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But when I got here, it was just right before the gentrification started, so where we were living, it's this place, it was right next to this place called Woodhull Hospital, and it was a horrible hospital. My roommate said, if you ever get sick, even if you're dying, do not go to that hospital. Go to Brooklyn Hospital instead, and you'll have a better chance of coming out alive. I said, what if I have like I don't know, like I need stitches or something? I cut my finger. Like, no, go to Brooklyn. So, but that neighborhood was great because you had like, the bodega folks. There was one of those things. You go to the bodega so much, you're like, hey, what's going on, buddy? Hey, how you doing? And it was just like you felt like you were like part of the family, And
yeah.
But now it's like, now Bushwick, Bed-Stuy, it's all getting bought out. It's all prices going up, and everybody's you either have to live in Long Island or maybe upstate. A lot of people live in Jersey because it's cheaper, but even Jersey is getting expensive too. So, but I don't know. I was thinking about going back to LA maybe at the end of the year. So
really,
yeah, maybe
LA is kind of crazy right now. I mean, it's not as bad as New York for sure. At least you have the weather, and Kathy Hochul is more ridiculous than Newsom, even though Newsom is, they just struck down Medicare for all and CalCare, which was expected. We told people this, but but like Jonny just sent me a picture where they're demanding, vaccination cards too there too. So it's kind of like the same vibe. I mean, definitely way better weather. What I love about LA, because I was always in between New York and LA, is definitely like the food and like getting around and like being able to go somewhere and like something was open, but the pandemic has changed a lot of that.
Yeah.
It's not the same, and the homelessness crisis, it's insane. Like you'll see people in Studio City, in parts of like LA where you didn't see like tents. There's tents everywhere, so it's really bad, and they're not doing a goddamn about it. They're just like pushing it further and further and further. They're criminalizing being on a sidewalk, so it's completely different than what it was 9 years ago when I first moved there. It's just not the same.
Yeah, 9 years ago. I was I moved there in 2003, at the end of 2003. And the last place I lived, I had a great little place. Little kind of a studio. I think I was paying like $625 a month, and right there in Koreatown. It was I was telling Johnny this earlier, is Wilshire and Normandy. I was around that area. Yeah. So I was telling
I know
you
exactly where. Yeah.
Koreatown
has gone up in price too. They used to be the place where you wouldn't go, like where people when I first came, they were like, it was still a little bit like, oh yeah, it's up and coming, but it's still kind of sketchy. You don't want to necessarily live there as a single woman, blah blah blah. But now it's like, there's nightlife everywhere. There's these karaoke places that I've been to. What is it? There's one, Brass Monkey is the most popular one.
Brass Monkey.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That funky monkey.
Yep.
Sorry.
Exactly.
Little beastie.
No, that's exactly what I think of every time I hear the name.
I've heard of Brass Monkey out there, and every time I heard it, I'd go, Brass Monkey. That funky monkey.
It's a good song, Warren. Don't be ashamed.
I should be. That I didn't really do much nightlife out there when I was there. I think I tend to get in a little trouble when I drink too much, so I had to tone it down. I went to the Dresden, that bar over there. I think was it not Eagle Rock. What is that? Los Feliz.
Yeah.
Around that area. A funny story. Me and a buddy, we were working at Borders in Glendale at the time at the bookstore, and we had the day off, and we said, "Fuck it, we're gonna do some day drinking." So we had Maker's Mark, and we were drinking Maker's Mark all day. I'm not a liquor guy. If I drink, I usually like to drink beer because I can gauge it. And long story short, a buddy of mine, Ginger, she calls up. She says, "Hey, you want to go to the Dresden?" I'm like, "Woo, going to the Dresden, woo!" And she picks me up. And as soon as I get in the car starts moving. It's like, oh, whoa. So long story short, I get to the Dresden. I end up throwing up in a beer bottle, and I put it under the piano bar. And I said, "Ginger, we got to get the fuck out of here." And so I don't like to drink that much in LA. And it's a little expensive, too. I like the weed out there, though. The weed was really good. Ooh.
Yeah, especially, Johnny, you could talk about this after being in Florida. Also, being in Nicaragua, where Patron shots, or not Patron, Don Julio shots were like $4. Like drinks are like $4. In Florida too, they're like $6, like $5. I'm just like flabbergasted. Like you go to LA, it's like $15 for a drink.
Cocktail.
Like, yeah.
You go to Manhattan here, you're gonna get that Manhattan markup for sure.
Yeah, me and Fee like our cocktails, but yeah, no, LA is like $15 now. Florida's getting up there though. It's like 10, 12 for cocktails, unless you go to the right spots. And then but yeah, Nicaragua, I mean, it's pretty cheap. I mean, yeah, it's cheap.
Yeah, I
Nicaragua was amazing. I'm like in love with it. It's just
Inexpensive,
hot, like I don't know.
Yeah, was it like humid down there? It's like, or was it like a dry heat? What was it like down there?
So, I wouldn't say it's too humid. I'd say Florida is more humid, actually.
Florida's more humid.
Oh God, yeah.
But
yeah,
it's weird because it's like in that Caribbean section. So
yeah, it's not like, I don't know. It was a little dry. Managua was a little bit drier than humid, but it wasn't dry either.
It wasn't dry.
But
So
like
but you weren't like soaked, right? You weren't like soaked or anything from the humidity like you would in Florida.
No,
right?
no.
Okay.
But there's mosquitoes. There's a little bit of that, element where there's mosquitoes in the summer and it gets hot. They don't have like AC everywhere like we are used to having in the States, at least in Florida. Because when I first moved to LA, they didn't have AC everywhere either because it never got that hot, except in the valley. And but like everywhere else, it was like you go to a house in West Hollywood and there's like no AC, and it's like, we just have the window unit. In Pasadena too, the house, it's an older house. There's only the window unit. There's no central AC. That's what I mean by AC, because that's what we live in Florida. You will die if you don't have like central AC. Like it's bad. But in Nicaragua, people like open their windows and they think it's warm or it's cool when it's like 80 something degrees. They think that's cold. And I'm like, you guys are like, yeah.
Well, yeah, you get used to that Cali temperatures, I mean, there was one day, I think, right, the last year I was there, that summer, there was, that was like 2008, I think. And it was humid. It was actually like kind of warm and humid for a couple of days. It wasn't like horrible to me, because like I said, I'm from Mississippi, and right down there on the Gulf Coast and the panhandle of Florida, it's like when you drive into Florida, there's like a wall of water because it's all humidity. And it was like, I was like, man, it's a little warm today, man. That's a little warmer than usual. And everybody else that was there was just freaking the fuck out, like the sun had gotten like 2 miles away from the earth. They're like, oh God, I'm dying, I need water. I'm like, really? I would think you'd be more scared of the earthquakes than the humidity, but but I was gonna ask you, what are the weed prices out there like? Okay, because let me preface that, because it wasn't like legal. Right before I left, of course they waited for me to leave, and they're like, "Oh, the fucker's gone. Let's make it legal." So it was like the regular black market prices. But like now, what's it like now?
Well, I hear it's better. It was better before.
It was
because it's not corporatized.
So before, when it was medicinal, it was cheaper, and there was more mom and pop shops around, because since it was medicinal, it wasn't as regulated. And I remember going in when I first moved. First of all, you could be from another state and get it if you had a medicinal marijuana card, and if you could prove you were living here, like without having an ID. And when I first moved, that's what I did. And they had these like dab bars where you would go and like do the dabs, and like they had like bars set up with dab machines, and like they would give you a free dab for your first patient thing. And like
they still do that.
Free joints. Nice. And like, but they had like bars of that open till like 3 a.m.
Oh yeah. There's nothing like that anymore.
They shut that shit down very quickly.
Really?
It was just really cool, and it was a lot cheaper. You could probably get like an eighth. God, like I'm showing how much of us. I haven't smoked in like forever now, but I used to smoke a lot more, and you could get like an eighth for like in a good deal, like for 25, like in some parts, like a decent like strain, or less. If you bought more, it was just so much cheaper. And so usually what my friends and I did, we would just like divide it. Like we had somebody, buy it, and then we just divide it. Now it's like, unless you know someone, it's pretty pricey. And also I don't smoke as much, so I don't know. Yeah.
No, well, you're a responsible adult.
The best to answer this question.
Also would know.
Yeah, well, he was supposed to
are watching, so.
He was supposed to be here tonight. I think he said something about a cousin's birthday that his mom said you better go.
Italians, you know how they are. Hey, my cousin Vinny over here.
Hey, forget about it. You gotta listen to mom. I mean, because mom will whoop your ass if you don't do what she says. Look, I'm 6'4", right, and my mom was like 5 foot, and I was scared to death of that woman. I ain't gonna lie. What that woman said, because she had like a shit list, right? That woman had some spice. She was like old world. She didn't like somebody. She'd give you like that stank eye, and then she do the spit and the fingers. Woo! Love that shit. And she had a list of people she didn't like too. Yeah, so I didn't fuck with that lady. So when Pasta said, "Yeah, I gotta go to this party," I was like, "Hey, enjoy yourself. We'll get you on next time." So, and I'll ask him about the herbage out there, since you two are the responsible ones, and he's. I'm gonna talk shit about him while he's not here. No, I love Pasta. Pasta's like, "I'm gonna come on your show, Uncle Warren. Someday I'm gonna be on there. I'm gonna get on your show, Uncle Warren." I'm like, "All right, sure, man." It's all good.
That was an interesting Pasta impression.
I've been around these New Yorkers enough. It was like, it was weird. Like when I worked at Borders, a friend of mine from Mexico, he made me an honorary Mexican, even though I can only speak a little Spanish, and I definitely do not tan. So I don't know where he got that from, but I could put down some Jose Cuervo. So maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know.
Jose Cuervo, that's your white man showing. We don't drink that. Well, I'm not Mexican, but Latinos don't drink that.
Well, we were
on Julio's or
we worked at Borders. We worked at Borders, so we were broke, so we kind of got what was cheap. So it was like our gateway to becoming an honorary Mexican. So I had to pass that threshold. So I like a white Russian though. If I was gonna have an adult beverage, like at a party or something, if I'm schmoozing, have like a little white Russian there, like, "Oh yeah, hi, how are the kids? Yeah, I heard you going to Reno this weekend. Nice."
Do I sound okay?
Johnny, you sound awesome. Johnny,
okay.
You sound like angels singing in front of a green screen.
Deep State totally just fucked with me. You guys were sounding robotic for a second.
Oh, really?
Deep State toilet. That sounds
Yes.
like Roto-Rooter or something, you know.
No, the
Uh,
deep state fucked with me.
oh, well, I mean, you're important people. I'm amazed that they're letting this stream go through as it is, you know. So, you know, I consider this a bonus. Um, we don't have much time left for you guys. It's only about 10 minutes, but I did want to say, like Fee, we were talking. You're here. You're basically just going to be all up in AOC's turf and like kind of talk to people. Is that right?
Yeah, I have some interviews for Saturday with a bunch of people that worked with her. And then, regarding her district and what she's done and like how they see her now, which from what I can tell, it's not favorable to her. I don't know who still. I mean, I guess I do know. Like, there's some shit libs that still, defend every move she makes. But I mean, she's been pushing war propaganda with Russia as of late. You have a lot of people upset with Ilhan Omar as well in Minnesota. That's something I would want to explore more. Also, because a lot of the people that elected her, Somalians, are really mad at her for pushing regime change in Somalia, which she has been doing. But as far as New York, AOC, and also the anti-mandate people, and also people affected by the Governor Hochul, who I read up recently. She, even though everybody else is loosening their restrictions, she refuses to loosen the restrictions here. And yeah, so there's a lot of people that have been affected by that. So I have some of that tomorrow during the day. I'm gonna go talk to some people. And the fams know, they're looking out. They're like, oh, talk to this person, talk to that person. And yeah, you were talking about journalism, like, and how it used to be. This is how it used to be, where you would find human interest stories, people, things that people are experiencing and want to get out there, and you go and research them. You do that, and like, there's a lot of that's been missing. People have just, and you've heard me rant about it, just like journalism is all just a bunch of talking heads now. And even in independent media, a lot of the media that gets promoted is like just people making fun of somebody else. And like, it's just like, well, that's entertainment, but that's not like, journalism. That's not really doing anything to change things. I think it's important to expose people to a degree. I think it's important to expose the truth to people who may not be there. But at this point, when I saw that tweet, I don't know if you saw it, Jonny, but there was a tweet Mariam Williamson made with Crystal Ball and Katie Halper and Brianna Joy Gray and somebody else that I don't know. And like, it was like, oh, we're gonna focus on, like, we're gonna get into Congress and focus on getting good Democrats, like defeating the corporate Dems or something along those lines. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's 2022, guys. Like, and somebody said, what's the definition of insanity? I think it was Franco doing the same thing and expecting different results. It's like, it's not, 5 years ago anymore. It's not 6 years ago. It's like 7 years ago. Like when I first started supporting Bernie Sanders and that whole thing went down, and then they screwed him and he didn't fight back. That was the time. That was like the portal that we had to go into the timeline where the marmot didn't hit, and this is to Steve, the marmot didn't hit the nuclear reactor, and we would have gone into a different timeline where we wouldn't be sitting here with Joe Biden, saying he's going to cure cancer, and he can't even fucking like utter a complete sentence. Like, we'd be in a different timeline, right? We're in a cartoon world right now. And it's just that moment has passed. There's no pathway through electoralism. And I don't say that to be defeatist and negative. I say that because it's just, this is not, like, especially looking at where Nicaragua's at, where Honduras is at, where other countries in Latin America are at. That's not where we're at. We don't have fair elections. And we've been around the world to tell you guys that we don't have fair elections, comparing our first world country and with all our money and resources to an election in Nicaragua. Even the election in Honduras, which had a bunch of issues, was still far better than any election we've had in the U.S. So,
oh, definitely. And I'm listening to you guys and listening to the real news without the taint of the mainstream media. it just convinces me more and more each day that we just have to, we got to rip the carpet up and rebuild the floor, because the system that we have now is just, it's just a perpetual cycle of people getting bought off or threatened or whatever, coerced to do the bidding of the oligarchs and stuff, and it's like more and more people are getting tired of that, and I don't know how soon it's going to happen, but I think it's going to happen that yes, Ricky, I did say taint, and that was on purpose. We got to get more people involved in this to get the changes made, and to this new system, and so we can get into it and start doing different things, so we can start actually helping people. We've come to the end of the hour, lady and gent. Final thoughts, since Jonny has been so patient in front of that green screen, and I was tempted to put it like a background behind you, because I got them chroma key skills, and but I didn't want to do that. I was gonna put like flames or like people running. Oh my God, it's hell. Any final thoughts? You want to go ahead and pimp yourself? Tell us everything, where people find you, all that good stuff.
Yeah, well, really quick, going off of what Fee said. Yeah, I agree. Electoral politics is in the way. I try to think of solutions of what we can do, because if electoral politics is in the way, the elections are rigged. So then what can we do? Well, the ultimate strategy of those in power, the oligarchs, whoever's fucking running shit, is to divide people up. And I feel like what we need to do is unite. And that means talking to your neighbors, making a community. We are building a community here. I mean, we have a little community here. We have independent media. We have people that watch us. But we just need you need to talk to your neighbors. And if you guys disagree on shit, don't take it too personally, and don't cancel them. I mean, unless it's like something like crazy, right? The really extremes. Yeah, I mean, I think the ultimate strategy is to talk to people and get to know people more, and start building communities, and create more friendships and stuff like that. And I think we will combat what they're trying to do, which is divide and conquer. And they are succeeding right now, but it's a war that's happening right now. We can just win that war. Try to be positive. I know it's shit times right now, but we got to stay positive. I mean, most of us, are doing pretty okay, but and maybe things can get better. As far as finding me, I'm gonna start doing some more work on True Rebel Network. So you can find me on True Rebel Network on YouTube, and then of course go follow the Convo Couch. Rockfin, YouTube. Look out for us, because we're not stopping, and we can't let these fuckers win.
I want a shirt that says that says we can't let these fuckers win. Also,
that's a good idea for a shirt.
Don't let these fuckers win. That's the redneck in me, just wants to curse on a shirt. And just remember,
that's the revolutionary in you, okay? Redneck or not, it's okay.
You can't spell community without unity. Dun, 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 the more you know. Felicious, phenomenal. Please, your final thoughts, feelings, and where people can find you and all that good stuff.
Right. Well, just like Jonathan said, I mean, I think we need to unite. That is what they're doing. It's really sad to see so much division, especially on the anti-imperialist left, where they've taken a lot of people and fooled them with this whole COVID situation. Not minimizing what it is or what it's done to people, but just having losing friends over that, to me, is ridiculous. And it started with the Trump administration and how they used him to get people to focus on him, the personality. Oh, he's a Nazi, he's this, is that. So that, then it was the pandemic and January 6th, the elections, all of that. And each stage has been set up to divide us, each event. So look out for the next event, is what I say, because there's a lot going on. We just killed an ISIS militant in Syria. We helped fund and create ISIS. So that's interesting. And then also, of course, earlier today, Lindsey Graham was saying him and Democrats have never been more united. Republicans and Democrats have never been united like this since the Iraq War, because they're so excited to try to push and foment not just regime change, but a proxy war with Russia. So that's the other thing that's happening right now. And I think those are also distractions. But just remember, those people are friends. He applauded Nancy Pelosi. They're friends. There's no two-party system here, really. Okay, they're just getting us to like pick teams so we fight and have a little brawl over a football game. But that's it. There's no real change coming through what like the actual systemic change that we need, and it's not going to come from them. It's going to come from us. And when we impose our imperialism in other countries, they have no choice but to fight back because they're living it. So either our conditions are going to change to where we can't take it anymore, or we're going to start organizing so we can have something that's not chaotic. Because if it's either going to be chaotic or it's going to be an organized counter movement, and we really want it to be more of an organized counter movement, because if it's chaotic, oftentimes that just works against us. So just keep thinking about that. What's the next thing happening? And you can find me on Fiorella_IM on Twitter. Obviously, the Convo Couch. YouTube suspended us. We should be back, I think, tomorrow. We might be unsuspended. But I don't know how much longer they're going to let us be on there. But we're on Rockfin, and we want to expand to more platforms. And so, yeah. Thanks for having me.
I can't say enough how much I appreciate what you and Jonny and Pasta, the whole Mikasa Sukasa network, what y'all do to help inform the people, despite the slings and arrows, and all this heat that you guys take from the shit libs on social media and even in the mainstream media. I just applaud your efforts. I think your fighters, your strength is just, I don't know, it empowers others, when they see the good works that you guys are doing. And you inspire other people. You're one of the inspirations for this show. I'm not saying that the bad part of this show is your fault. That's my fault. The good part is your fault. So we'll just leave it at that. Let me just shout out some folks. We had some stragglers come in late. They got the Debate Me channel here. What's up, brother? Ricky Rants, beautiful Misha. I hope I said your name right. I'm a white guy. I can't say cool names that well.
Ricky Rants.
Ricky Rants. He is awesome. He was on last week. We had a blast. He's one of my New Yorkers up here.
I gotta see you, Ricky, before I leave. You know that. Yes. I'm gonna call you out if I don't see you.
Ricky has kind of the same setup Johnny's got right there. Only instead of a green screen, it's just like a pale wall of just disappointment and just tears. He's all right. He does his best. Yona is here. Kennedy's mommy. Okay, don't be a fan. I don't know who Kennedy's mommy is, but I hope you're cool. Well, if you're at the show, you're cool. And Oz. We were talking about Oz earlier. Speak of the devil, and he shall appear. Poof. Love me some Oz. Oz is good for people. Yona's here. I think I got everybody here. Lucky showed up. She's here. Lucky, I said Steve too.
Say hi to Leo.
The little poppers, the little drumming poppers. I can't get enough of that. I tell you though, what keeps me sane, and I'll let you go, is the secret to not losing your shit. Watch a little puppy or kitten video, and just like this, when they're doing the zoomies and shit. Oh man, you're just like, then you just don't feel like killing a bitch if you don't have bail money. So
yeah, that's true. That's very
always have. If you don't have enough bail money, you better have a button on that lip. Just saying, because know from experience. Anyway, I want to thank y'all for coming. We'll get hopefully next time we get you both on, we'll get Pasta on here, and we'll have a trifecta of fun. In the meantime, Jonny, glad you're on here. Next time you come on, you'll be a returning champion. Fiorella, you're already a champion, but now you're a returning champion, and that's how we roll. Everybody in the chat, appreciate y'all. Anybody who's watching this later, love you. All the best. I don't know how to close these things out.
Thanks for having us on, Uncle Warren.
Peace out, everybody.
Yeah, Bulla out. You say Convo out, you say Bulla out. I got nothing.